welcome to the Yoga Mother. I'm going to take you through a short sequence that you can do at home while you're self-isolating. So first, let's inhale, lacing our fingers together. Exhale, push your palms away and curl your back. Inhale, raise your arms up to the sky with your gaze, and then exhale, release. Once again, inhale, and exhale, push away. Inhale, raise up, and exhale, release. Last time, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Now let's take one hand behind us, other hand to opposite knee. Inhale to lift your torso, and then exhale, twist to the side. Take 3 breaths here. And then inhale back to center. Switching sides, one hand behind you, other hand to opposite knee. Inhale, lift your torso, create some space, and exhale, twist for 3 breaths. And then inhale back to center. Let's place one arm on the mat and take the other arm up high, taking a deep inhale as we stretch towards the ceiling. Then exhale, bend into your grounded hands, coming over to one side, and then spin your bottom ribs up towards your top ribs. Take 3 breaths. Inhale, coming back up. Other hand goes down to the mat, send your hand up towards the ceiling. Deep inhale, exhale, folding over to the other side, spinning those bottom ribs towards the top ribs. And really breathing into this side of your rib cage. This can get really tight, particularly if you're pregnant or if you're carrying around small children a lot. Or even just a handbag. Then inhale, coming back up. Now let's roll onto all fours. Taking your hands below your shoulders and your knees below your hips. Let's take an inhale and drop our belly, raising our head up. Exhale, draw your belly in, push away from the mat with your hands and bow your head. Inhale, belly drops and head rises. And exhale, tuck your tailbone, draw your belly in, push away from the mat as your head bows. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Then let's tuck our toes. Push yourself up into a downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent at first. Push away from the mat with your hands. Bow your head. And then you can begin to straighten your legs. Let's inhale, bringing our knees to hover just above the ground. Exhale, straighten your legs. Keep our hands in the same position throughout. Inhale, bend your knees, hover. Exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale, bend your knees. And exhale, straighten. And let's hold here for 3 breaths. Then inhale over to high plank, so your shoulders are above your wrists. Then drop your knees and exhale all the way down to the ground. Inhale to cobra. Bring your elbows close to your ribs. Raise your head and chest. Then exhale, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Now that was a normal vinyasa for someone who doesn't have a big baby bump. So as soon as your bump starts getting in the way, we want to inhale over to high plank, and then drop our knees, so we're in a tabletop, and then do a cat-cow. Let's see that again. So start in a downward facing dog, inhale over to high plank, drop your knees, cat and cow. All right, let's take knees wide, toes together. Drop your hips down towards your heels and stretch your arms forward, resting your head on the mat. And we take our knees really wide here so we've got space for our belly. Really nice to create that space. Two more breaths. Then inhale, come up onto all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog. Then inhale over to high plank, so shoulders over wrists. Drop your right knee and then turn your left foot so it's flat on the mat and lift your left hand up. So you're in a half side plank. Take 3 breaths here. Looking straight ahead or looking up at your hand. Then take that left hand back down to the mat. Turn your left foot back round and then step forward with your right foot. Drop your left knee and untuck your left toes. Then inhale to take your arms up. Coming to a low lunge. Holding here for 3 breaths. If you feel dizzy when you hold your hands above your head, feel free to keep your hands at heart. That's absolutely fine as well. Then take your right hand, place it inside your foot and sweep your left arm out to the side. Now these twists are fine when you're pregnant. What we don't want to do is twist inwards. So as long as we're twisting out and creating space for our belly, that's absolutely fine. Take your left hand down, plant your hands both sides of the mat, tuck your back toes and push yourself into a downward facing dog. Hold for 3 breaths. Now let's do our vinyasa. So inhale over to high plank. Exhale, dropping our knees, coming all the way down to the ground. And inhaling to cobra. Or if you're pregnant, we're starting in our downward facing dog, coming to high plank, dropping to our knees and doing our cat-cow. Pushing yourself into downward facing dog. Rolling over to high plank. This time let's drop our left knee down, turn so that our right foot is flat on the mat, and then take right hand up. Side plank on the other side. And taking right hand back down to the mat, turning your back foot, stepping forward with your left foot, dropping right knee, untucking back toes, and sending your arms up. Remember, there's always the option to take hands to heart. Holding for 2 more breaths. You can always inch our front toes forward again if we want to bring an even deeper lunge to our back leg. Then let's take our left hand to the inside of our front foot, sweep your right arm out to the side. Then taking right hand down, left hand goes to the outside of your mat, tuck your back toes and send yourself back to downward facing dog. Let's walk our dog out now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then start walking your hands back to the back of your mat where your feet are. You can keep your knees nice and bent, but then come to a nice low hang, soft knees, holding onto your elbows, letting your head be heavy. Then take your hands to hips and slowly come up, pushing through your feet, nice and slowly, until we come to standing. Then let's take a small step forward with our right foot. Pivot your hips so both hips are facing forward, parallel with the short edge of your mat. So don't open out to the side. Keep drawing that left hip round. And then let's touch elbows behind our back. Then inhale, lengthen your torso, and exhale, fold over that front leg. So we're hinging from the hips. Our head bows, tilting from the pelvis. Holding for 3 breaths. Then take your hands to your hips. Inhale, bending from the waist, bringing yourself back up. And whenever you're doing these bends, make sure that you're really drawing your core in to make sure that your belly's not just hanging loose. Then push into your foot, coming feet together. Now step forward with the left foot. Draw your right hip round, elbows touching again. Inhale, and exhale, hinge from the hips over that front leg. Allow your head to hang, holding for 3 breaths. Then inhale, bringing yourself back up. Stepping to the top of your mat, and then turning to face long ways on your mat. So now, let's take our feet wider than hip distance, toes turned out a little bit. Take your hands to your heart, and slowly lower yourself down into Malasana. So you might find that your toes come off the ground, that's okay, or you might find that at first you want to do this with your back against a wall, that's also fine. So come to a comfortable position in your squat, elbows on the inside of your legs, bowing your head, but nice straight spine. And here we're working all the muscles in our feet, our pelvic floor, strengthening, ready for birth, or ready for just core strength in general. Holding for 5 breaths here if you can. And then to come out of this, just take your hands behind you and just gently bring yourself to sit back on your sit bones. Now what we're going to do is bring the soles of our feet together. You can bring them far away from your body or tucked in close to your groin, whatever's more comfortable. Move the flesh off of your bum so you can sit nice and tall, or even sit yourself up on a block or up on a cushion to help you keep a straight spine here. Then let's take our hands and gently open our feet like a book. Nice straight spine again, shoulders down and back. Let's close our eyes. And then take your hands to the mat and see if you can edge yourself forward. So imagine that you want your belly and your chest to go way beyond your feet. So we're not curling into ourselves, we're really taking our body beyond our feet. Keeping our spine nice and straight and only folding down as we come to the ground. Holding for 3 breaths. Then gently edging yourself back up and spinning on your mat. Taking your hands beside you and slowly lowering yourself back down onto your back. Taking your feet about hip distance apart and seeing if you can kind of tickle your heels with your fingers. Your palms are down, toes pointing forward. Then take a deep inhale and exhale, peel your hips off the ground, pushing through your feet as you rise up into bridge. Tuck your chin slightly so you're looking towards your chest. Holding for 3 breaths. And then gently lowering down. Take a couple of breaths on the mat. inhale. And exhale, peel your hips off the mat. Hold for 3 breaths again. And gently lower down. Now let's shift our hips over to the left side of the mat and allow your knees to fall down to the right side. Take your left arm as a cactus arm, so your elbow is in line with your gaze, and look over your left shoulder towards your elbow. Hold here in the spine twist for 3 breaths. Then inhale those knees back to center. Shift your hips over to the right side of the mat. Allow your knees to fall down to the left side. Right arm goes as a cactus arm. Gaze over your right shoulder towards your right elbow. 3 breaths. And then bring your knees back to center. Shift your hips towards the center of the mat. And then take your feet long. Open your palms out towards the sky. And let's take Shavasana. And feel free to stay here for however long is comfortable.